course, you know, ouch, ouch, ouch. I love my hair. Fight back, the struggle, right? Gonna have problems once I start going through and not having any problems, right? So, hey, family, first off, I want to welcome you to the Congregation of Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Oh, my God. Anime, get it together. Listen, this is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. Of course, you know, this is a Heart of a Simple production, and this is the Daily Toast, where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.
Mr. Diddy.
Drink your water. Come on, drink your water, but first, take your breath and drink some more. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Drink. Or should we say, breathe, then drink. Lift your glass and pour some more. Crack the cap and get the water. Then lift your glass and pour that water. Now pour the water. Drink. Or should I say, live, pour, then. Man. Now move your body and drink some water. Now move your body and drink some water. Now move your body and drink some water. Now move your body. Drink. Or should we say, move, then drink. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass. Drink. Or should I say, raise, toast, then. Good morning, family. Hey, good morning. All right, let me see. All right, so I need to take one of these tracks off because it came on here listed as track 10. I want to try to play a different song when I drink some water. I uploaded a new, well, it's not really a new song, but shouts out to Calvin, Kwame Kitchler, Brother Kwame. I got my Spreaker thing up so I only can see the first name, so it took me a second to register who that was. What's up, Brother Kwame? Great Ujima to you. Great rising. Sashet Mosh. You'll have a Kwanzaa meeting. No, we didn't have a Kwanzaa meeting last night. Man, listen. I am under attack all the time, right? Not as much online because I don't do a lot of stuff online. So some people send me stuff online. I hope you don't get mad because Facebook, you know what I'm saying? In a lot of instances it's fuckbook. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of fuckery going on there. And it's like I don't be trying to participate in some of the stuff up there. You know, I check my timeline real quick. And the reason, because some people be like, you was online. I have a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? And I have stuff, like little bots going around posting stuff up for me from different sites and stuff. So it's not that I'm on the line all the time, it's that I have representatives up online. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a lot of times it's some stuff going on there that I don't want to see. I'm seeing a lot less fights and stuff like that, and I'm glad for that. But I don't be on there a lot. But so I ain't getting a lot of attacks from there, but I'm getting a lot of attacks from different places because, I mean, I really want you to understand when you talk about blowing up old paradigms, right? People hold on to those old paradigms. They hold on to them so tight because in those old paradigms, they find security. And in that security, if you try to remove that security, even if it's killing them, they'll try to kill you. Right? They'll try to kill your career. They'll come at you in many different angles. They'll hold up to some stuff. And I mean, it's just crazy. So it's like I be having all types of issues popping up. And then I get to deal with our children. You know what I'm saying? I had one run up to me the other day talking about, you should fire such a I don't have the power to fire a person. And then on top of that, I'm not going to fire him just because you mad. I mean, you don't listen to nothing I be talking about in my class, obviously, right? It's hard out here for everybody. And you just mad and you want somebody to be fired. Ooh, man. I believe the children are the future. Y'all just heard that, right? One was mad, say, I want you to fire them. I believe the children. Boy, it's a dark, dark future if we don't start doing our work. Brother Kwame say, got weeks mixed up and canceled our men's meeting last night. Thought it was Kwanzaa meeting night. No, I don't think you got the weeks mixed up, Brother Kwame. I don't think you got the weeks mixed up. Because I don't remember having a meeting last Coogee Chagalia. So you didn't have a mix up. Teach them well and let them, we got to teach them well and let them lead, teach them well and let them lead the way. But we got to teach them. We can't have other people teaching them because it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. What's some stuff? Yeah, man. I ain't get to finish. I'm going to try to read it with my girls tonight. Shasha was supposed to put the book in her book bag, but I don't see it in her book bag. I wanted to share the book with y'all. I mean, like, damn, I give my kids instructions. That book better not be in bed with her. All right. Well, anyway, the book I showed y'all yesterday, Black Sands. Man, I read the book already, right? I'm talking about before I bought it. So I was expecting a little bit more in the book. They put a little history in there. You know what I'm saying? But they left me hanging on a cliffhanger. Let me tell you. So I was talking with my kids, and I'm going to make this quick. Good morning. We got to get another movie night popping at The Hate in Us. That's not is that the name of the movie? The Hate You Give. Is that, all right, cool. So when we want to do it. I mean, because, we got December right around the corner. I'm saying second week in December, right? But family, here we go. You ready? Y'all ready? Check this out. So the book left me on the cliffhanger. So I've been talking to my kids about 1001 Nights, right? For those that don't know what 1001 Nights is, right? It's a book. And it's one of the ones that kind of motivated me to start writing stories, right? Because stories from 1001 Nights are everywhere, right? You wouldn't even, if you don't know, you just don't know. Like if you ever heard about Aladdin and his magic lamp, that's 1001 Nights. If you ever heard of Sinbad the Sailor, that's 1001 Nights. All of its adventures come up out of that. If you ever heard of Alibaba and the 43 and his 40 thieves, you know what I'm saying? That comes out of there. Actually, the saying "Open Sesame" or "Open Sesame," right? It's actually "Open Sesame," right? That comes from there, right? I mean, it's like magic carpets and all that shit, all that stuff that has been incorporated into the culture, into our culture, comes from 1,001 Nights. And so I said, all right, cool, because when I'm talking with the children about the future, I say, look, you got to be specific, because it's like you have a genie. And, you know, I run through this thing about genies hating humans and how genies end up in the magic lamp. So when they come out and you make a wish, if the genie want to be vindictive, he will grant your wish exactly like you say it. And if you're not careful with your words in the wish will get you killed. Like you say, I want to be rich. I want all the money in the world. And the genie will give you all the money in the world in the middle of nowhere. You can't spend it and let everybody know that where their money is, right? So, anyway, so I'm telling them, in your future, yup, it's Sherazade the storyteller, right? Right? So now the plot of the story is called, right? But I had to go back and I had to remind myself about the story. Because I'm saying, cool, so let me, you know, because I want the young people to experience it. So I said, okay, cool, let me get this. So after the break, I said, well, we're going to read it. Rather than me just explaining it to them, going through the metaphors, I go through the metaphors as we go through the stories. I don't know, it's 4 to 5, I don't know. I don't even know how many pages. I don't even care how many pages. It's very, I ain't going to say difficult reading. I would say you would need a 4th to 5th grade. I'd say about a 4th grade reading level to really get through it. And once you get through it, your vocabulary will be on point. Your confidence will be on point. So I said, with my 4th to 8th grade, since I got to see them all the time, we are going to not only work on the breathing exercises, we are going to read 1,001 Nights. So I walk in the classroom. I say, we're about to do the breathing exercise. 4th to 8th grade. Now, no, my fault. For 6th to 8th grade, when I say we working on breathing exercise, right? And from kindergarten to 4th grade, I get, yay! So I walk into the, so we about to start the breathing exercise. Everybody sit down, put up your Chromebooks, blah, blah, blah. We about to get started. Man, I said, listen, we're going to do this, boom, boom, boom. So I ran them through it real quick. We're going to read 1,001 Nights. I've been telling y'all, been hitting on it. So I said, let's go and look at it. So what I need at the board, I need to scribe. Every time we run into a word that we don't understand, I want us to write it up on the board. And that's going to be kind of your challenge to go through and be able to define these words so that you get a better understanding of the story. So we start the story as, you know, of course, it's Islamic, right? Or at least, and I say, listen, this is something important for all of y'all to realize. These stories are not actually Islamic. These stories are Persians. When Islam became a powerhouse, they went around to different cultures and started taking the stories and started adding their shit to it. So this story is not actually Islamic. Now, what does that have to do with what we talking about, brother? So anyway, cliffhangers, right? Because I want y'all to understand, changing the paradigm, right? So they start reading the story. So at first they start out praising Allah, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes and talks about the importance of being able for a generation to be able to learn the lessons from the prior generation. Now, this is at the beginning of the book. I want you to understand this, boom, how proper it is and how great it is for a young person to be able to learn from the lessons of future generations. And this is what 1,001 Nights is about. This is what it's for. So then we jump straight to the story. Now, those that don't know, the story starts off about a king of China and India, right? It's Persian. You know what I'm saying? Mesopotamia, whatever. You know what I'm saying? All Asia, right? Let's just say it. Asia, right? King of Asia. Dude is powerful. Now, so the kids is reading it. We go through, we break it down, blah, blah, blah. And at first they bored. Then we get to this part. So we got a king who has 2 sons. One an older son, one a younger son. Right? I won't go into their names, blah, blah, blah. Older son receives the empire that this emperor had. His youngest son receives a kingdom. The 2 sons are separated for 20 years. The older brother wants to see the younger brother. Now check this out. So he sends for the younger brother, right? He sends for the younger brother. He sends his vizier to go get the younger brother. Now, check this out. Y'all ready? Listen. You listening? You listening? Kwame, I know you already know. Don't you ruin the story for nobody. So, he sends his vizier for it. So, I'm describing all of the details that they have when the emperor sends the vizier to his younger brother about them getting treasures and getting. It took them 3 days to get ready to travel. This is how many people he had with him. So it's like they was taking a Hajj. For those that are familiar with that, right? They going over here, and the emperor wrote a letter to his brother. So the vizier leaves to go get the brother. And they talk about what happens as he go through each one of these kingdoms. And he finally get to the brother. So now the kids is like this. Some of them is into it. A majority of them aren't with it, right? So boom. So the vizier finally makes it to the kingdom. And the younger brother is met by the vizier. And the vizier tells him that his brother wants him to come. The vizier gives him the letter. He reads the letter. He said, of course I'll come. My brother want to see me. Boom, 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 boom. I hear and I obey. So he go and get his stuff ready. He jumps on his horse with these armies, and they roll out, and he rides until midnight. But then he forgets. Then he remembers that he forgot a very important gift for his brother. So he turns around and he rides back home. He rides home. Hold on. He rides home. He jumps off his horse. Nobody knows he's back in the kingdom. He runs upstairs, catches woman in the bed with another man. But I ain't going to go into detail of what y'all can. It's a black slave. Woman in bed with a black slave. And they out cold, right? And he said, well, damn. If I've only been gone this short of time and she be doing this, I wonder what this vile woman is going to be doing while I'm gone. So he kills both of them in the bed, grab his present, jump back on the horse, catch back up with everybody, and they depart. Right? So when he gets to the kingdom, his brother is noticing that he's kind of withdrawn. Like, what the fuck wrong with you? I ain't seen you in 20 years. He said, brother, I'm sore on the inside, and I can't really discuss with you what it's about. So the brother thinking it's about his kingdom, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, check this out, bro. Why don't you go hunting with me? Right? So I have to stop at this point in time and tell the kids, boom, I want y'all to understand what's happened, right? What just happened? Please describe to me what just happened. This man went back to his house. He found his woman kicking it with somebody else, Mr. Brown, blah, blah. I said, what? I said, what did he do? He killed him. Boom, boom. What does that mean? So we got to get into talking about the king and what it means to be a king, blah, blah, blah. So now we get into that a little bit, right? So now this whole time on the board, the scribe is writing all these words that the kids don't know. So now the kids are sitting up. You know what I'm saying? They're listening. And I said, boom, he did what? So his brother says, all right, check this out. Why don't you go hunting with me, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, come. Maybe hunting. He said, no, I don't want to go hunting. So the emperor goes off hunting. And this dude stays. And now, check this out, cliffhanger. I take a breath on the kids. Well, and you have to catch the rest next week. And I go around and start snatching papers from them real quick before they can read. Because I say, it's more drama coming. They're like, oh, man, no, I want to read. No, you don't want to read. Give me that. No, you wouldn't even give me here. You wouldn't pay this. Don't try to read. Now give me here. Give me the paper. I'm running around grabbing all these papers from these kids. And they like, man, they trying to read. They try to read real quick. I said, no, you should have been paying attention. We could have made it through faster. Give me my papers because there's more drama coming next week. Right? So now they ready to read. Now they looking at some of these words, trying to learn the words. Now one of the kids ran up to me and said, my dad read this story to me, Mr. Brown, and I know what happened, but I ain't going to tell them because they trying to find out. I said, yeah, and it's like we got to entice our people, young people, to learn. We got to give them things that makes it, you know what I'm saying? Because out of this lesson, we get to talk about ancient history. We get to talk about the role of women and the way women were viewed. We get to talk about racism. We get to talk about the gap between the rich and the poor. You know what I'm saying? We get to talk about slavery. You know what I'm saying? We get to talk about politics. We get to talk about building the vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? All this from a simple story. And once again, like I call it folk tales for grown folks, right? Because a lot of times we throw these off to kids, not really realizing the lessons that are involved in these stories. And speaking of folk tales for grown folk, I have to apologize to y'all because I was, like I said, I was tired. Like I said, under attack sometime. I just like, and I come home, and then this is what I gotta stop doing. Once I put on Amos Wilson, I started listening to Amos Wilson last night and got intimidated. Every time I hear Amos Wilson, I don't feel like doing my show. So on show days, I cannot listen to Amos Wilson. Like for folk tales for grown folks or for tribal quotes. Now for the morning show, I don't mind doing that, right? Because I don't mind doing my shows because this is a regular part of the practice, right? This is part of me coming outside my paradigms. But after listening to that elder, after listening to that ancestor, man, listen, I'm intimidated. Because that was a bad, shut your mouth. Listen, I'm telling you, if you have not heard Amos Wilson, go to YouTube, type in Amos Wilson before they snatch his shit down. Because now, and I'm not saying they're going to, I'm not saying they're planning to, but if I was them, I would snatch that shit down. Because Amos Wilson is like a prophet. When you sit down and you realize that this brother died in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and you listen to the shit that he's saying, he was so far, all this shit we going through right now, he laid out how and why we will be in the situation we are in now. It is incredible. And I'm quite sure some of the Daily Toasters out there that have listened to Amos Wilson or read Amos Wilson can clearly agree with me. The man, the ancestor was not only was brilliant, but probably brilliant as an ancestor, right? So if I was them, I'm just letting y'all know. But y'all need to get out there and y'all need to check that out. But anyway, I do all that because it hit me when I was sitting up here reading this book. I said, I did not just send this money out here and they left me on a cliffhanger like that. I was hanging by my nails. And I said, well, hell, I'm going to, but what's crazy about that, because Kwame can attest to this, that whole story is the story is a story within a story where the lead character is telling stories and leaving cliffhangers so that she will be able to make it through the other nights. That's why it's called 1001 Nights. It is a brilliant concept. And so I haven't even made it to the part where we talk about the 1001 Nights and just the wisdom of Sherazade. You know what I'm saying? The wisdom of the woman and being able to weave these tales to last 1001 nights. That's how many years? That's damn near 3 years. That's not 3 years. That's almost 3 years, right? But all right, but let me go and do this toast. What I need to do is I need to drink my water. I got kind of excited, even though I was late. I'm sorry. So let's see if we can play track 10. Hopefully this is a track from Afrocentric Warriors. I've been looking for this track. For some reason it wasn't uploading. Hopefully this is the right one. So I'm going to let it play. I ain't going to play it all the way through because it ain't been this long, but I just want to make sure. I think it's called Bustin' Loose. All right, and this is by Smooth, also known as Hazen, and Brother Hassani. Oh, damn. Damn. That left a bad taste in my mouth. Hold on here. I feel betrayed. Let's say Bustin' Loose. Alright, so I'm going to have to find it because that wasn't Bustin' Loose. So let's go to Hysteria. We're going to listen to Hysteria real quick while I drink my water. Is it Hysteria on here? Minute by Minute, track 3. Nope. Making it hard for me to get a drink of water today. What's going on? Oh my God. Where are all my songs at? Oh, tap. Here we go. History.
This is my history. I was never born in slavery. When I speak, I mean, I am therefore we are a people whose legacy transcends 400 years of European captivity. This is my history, rooted in African spirituality, preaching and teaching to love the original self, respect nature, ancestor veneration, seek the righteous path to knowledge, wisdom and understanding of life and death, because we live forever. As long as our children speak about our African legacy, this is my history. From Amenhotep to Malcolm X, from Hatshepsut to Assata Shakur, from the Orisha to Kwanzaa, from Cairo to the Cape, from Cuba to Trinidad and Tobago, from Asia to Australia, from the beginning of time to infinity. This is my history. Nubian, Kemetia, Ashanti, Wolof, Hausa, Yoruba, Zulu, African people, black people, my people, our people. Now when I speak of black, I mean color, culture, and spiritual consciousness. To know that self-knowledge is key to our liberty in this war against Euro-American South African brutality. This is my history. This is my history. Them say what is to be must be. Life is but a continuous cycle. But now I speak, we write in foreign tongues because they came, they saw, they conquer. Genocide I roots mine, like the devil they stole we land.
That's Brother Mazia Patachete, and this is my history. Her life depends on her being able to keep the interest of Shahryar, the king, right? Which was in the story, he's the older brother. Dope story. And you know what's best about that, Kwame? It is public domain. Family, let me tell you the secret of public domain. With public domain, we could grab all public domain stories, republish them up under our thing, or like up under our name. You can republish them up under your name with a little bit of commentary from you, and you can resell that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can resell that shit. Like, for example, Aladdin. We could come up with a movie called Aladdin, and Disney wouldn't be able to do shit, or Pixar, whoever did it, because they don't own that shit. Well, we possibly couldn't call it Aladdin. You know what I'm saying? But we could use Aladdin in it. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably somehow trickle, you know what I'm saying? You know, but the real story of Aladdin, as a matter of fact, I'm guaranteeing that a lot of y'all have never really heard real fairy tales. Y'all heard the cleaned up versions of a lot of these fairy tales. Listen, it is so much wisdom and so much adventure. I mean, in these stories, you know what I'm saying? And they cleaned a lot of them up. like Hansel and Gretel. Y'all, I'm quite sure most of y'all never heard the real story of Hansel and Gretel. I'm quite sure y'all never really heard the girl with the long hair. Y'all never really heard that whole real story, or Little Red Riding Hood. Y'all might have heard that real one. You know what I'm saying? But y'all never really heard these real stories. Y'all never even really. If you depending on Disney to give you the real story of Aladdin, because a lot of people don't even know it's two genies in there. I don't even understand what the genie represents, but there's two genies in the story. I'm going to leave it alone. All right, this brother, let's go and first we give honor to the Creator by whatever name you choose, call the Creator. We lift up our glass and we say, Ashe. From there, finally, where do we go? We go to our list of honored ancestors, and we pull that up. We just happen to have it right here. Miles Brown, Miss Ann, Robert, Texana Davis, Herman Brown, Singh, Rosalie, Tilly, Georgia, William, Walter, Christopher, Penny, Gasson, Aunt Nina, Uncle Chris, I'm Fiend, Cleveland, and Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis of our Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Tappan, John Fallar, Montague Pittman, Norma X, Pet Mile, Rob, Malika Fakur, Dr. Marianne Williams, Kojo Kamai, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Algeny, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Brofro, Hector Jr., J. Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling Lucy Wright, Derek L. Pullen, the Luxor Brother, Miss Eda Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Mr. Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Gil Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Trigg, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek, hold on, I'm not saying those right. Walter Smith, Richard Triggs, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Rinderman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Lois Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kellen D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bird Beatty, Sarah Weatherby, the Farmer, I Go So Sue, Cheryl Harvey, Aunt Charmaine, Aunt Evelyn Theolis Hasbury, Harvey Hasbury, Sr., Leonard Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thornton, Pearl G. Thornton, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thornton, Patricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keechler Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jarrell Giles Watson, Sparrow, Slimmy, Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore, Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, One of my favorite stories was The Count of Monte Cristo. Is that Alexander Dumas who wrote that? Yeah, Alexander Dumas. Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Ovina Hall, Freeman Bankster, Mae Moss, Ophelia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quayle. It don't matter because all stories belong to who? Somebody tell me. One of my daily toasters, y'all got to know. Who do all stories belong to? Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, Dave Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quayle, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quails, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, S.C. Johnson, Dorita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. West Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry Worrell, James Farmer, Mae Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Hattie Levester, Mae Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martineau, Elder Amateur Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Thelma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey and Eleanor Howe, Frank Russell Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Pina Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy May Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carla Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy. Come on now, somebody tell me, who do all stories belong to? Alright? Make sure those that's listening like and share. So the family keep on growing because it's growing a little bit faster now. Here we go. Jim Robinson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnson, Delise Waters, Shelby McClendon, Annie Ferguson, William Ferguson, Michael and Charlene Morgan, Sybil Edwards McNabb, Mazarine Kofer, George Swan, Monia Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Reginald Oliver, Linda Howard, Jacqueline Broadus, Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Edward R. Benson Sr., Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Ryan McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rayshawn Easley, Javea McCormick, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Irving, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Irvin Sr., Michael Irvin, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Norel Ellis, Elizabeth Battles, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Baba Naeem, Tim Butler, Raymond Lord Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Bat Vaughn, No, it's not us. Come on now. I'm talking in mythology. Who do all stories belong to? Come on now. Led Alls, Elijah Alls, Rome Alls, Henry West Staten. Give you a hint. Spider. Led Alls, Elijah Alls, Rome Alls, Henry West Staten. Joe, Jamel Alls. But they do belong to us. You're right. Miss Manella, Alvis Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Erlington Houston, Albert Moore, Leroy Q. Heath Sr., Margaret Times, Mary Williams, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Hairston, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Frances, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Vivian Stevenson, Lily Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cofer, Dorita Ross, Viola Ross, Robert Melton, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Lester and Rachel Saunders, John Bowie, Alex Nixon, Eula and Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harriet Tubman Kate, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Sr., Melly Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Aunt Becca, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boyd Irby, Jim Gaucher, George, and Haley. George and Hallie. How do I get that right? George and Hallie Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Edgar Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans. Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Donna Hill, Richard Gleavis, Jerry Dorr, Mina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Emma McClendon, Dan Wilkerson Sr., Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Irvin, Judy Halbert, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Stacey Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Cathy, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle Buki, also known as Gypsy, Reverend Roosevelt Word I, Jennifer Sensabaugh, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, R.J. Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Gene Holmes, Danny Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Nalon Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue and Ann Stevens, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pena Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Leon Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Florence Evans, Pamela Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Edith Catton, Eugene Spratling, Calvin Spratling, Phyllis Lee, DeFridas Hines, Ines Bostic, Edna Bostic, Winifred Scantleberry, Wilson Headley, Elma Hines. We lift up our glass and we say Ashe. Let's see if anybody got it. Anansi, thank you, Mr. Miller. All stories belong to Anansi, right? So we lift up our glass and we salute all of our ancestors and we say Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? We go to the present moment. In this moment today, family, activate your reticular formations. We are looking for Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility for those that don't speak the language. Righteousness is the myotic principle of the day. Respect is what we teach with the Millennium 7. The color is blue, as you see with the shirt. Vibration is the Hermetic law, right, of the day. Male name for the day is Kwaku. Shouts out to all the Kwakus. I don't know any Kwakus yet. I'm looking forward to meeting some Kwakus. Those who were born on Ujima Day, right? Kwaku, right? I don't know no Kwakus yet. Female Akuas. I would like to know some Akuas too. I haven't met any Akuas yet, right? That would be kind of cool. So if there's any Kwakus out there or any Akuas, you know, individuals born on today, Ujima Day, we call it Ujima. Y'all know what the rest of the world call it, but Gye-Nyame tribe, Gye-Nyame family is what we call it, right? Boom. Ujima, right? Those born on this day. So I want to meet some Kwakus and some Kuas. So, you know, if y'all, matter of fact, activate those reticular formations as well. We're looking for Ujima, but also let's look for people born on this day, right? You know what I'm saying? Can you share some names of people that was born on this day? Demetrius Miller said, that was easy. I tuned in the moment you called my grandmother's name. Crazy timing. Hey, it happens, my man. Actually, it's not really crazy, is it? Once we start working with the universe, we raise our glass and we lift up our glass in this moment, right? Because in this moment is all the power. And we say, Ashe. From there, where do we go? We go to our children's children, on to infinity, because we are responsible for them, and everything we do in a moment definitely affects them. So we lift up our glass, we say Ashe. Where we go from there? From there, family, we head off, right? And we go to all of our relations, and we say Ashe. And right there, right now, it's your time. I lift up my glass for you. What is it that you need in your life, in your existence right now, to help you in this moment, to help you get what you need to get, right? We lift up our glass, we say Ashe. Last but not least, I toast the most beautiful, powerful, and inspiring person in the room. And it just so happens to be you, right? And we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I'm running a little bit late, family, so I got to get up. I got to get these clothes on so we can get out here and start our day. Be careful, because it was freezing yesterday when I came in, so I'm quite sure the roads might be frosted over. So drive carefully, and I'm expecting to see all of y'all tomorrow as we toast. All right? This brother Hatim, and I say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Family, I wish you peace, power, and joy, and I am out.